You're tuned to Planet Vero Radio. We are on iHeartRadio, and we are also on Spreaker. I am Cindy Schwartz, and I have my co-host Jeannie Roller on the phone from Indiana. And I've also got two guests today, John and Lynn, and they are on Skype with me, and they want to talk about a surgery that John had that did not go the way he wanted it to go. And also, it kind of begins with what informed consent really wasn't done, and some other atrocities, and we're going to say sexual abuse that happened in the medical community with him and his procedure. So we're going to go right ahead to John and Lynn. If you want to explain a little bit, I said that it is a surgery on your vein in the lower left leg, John, and that you just weren't given any other choices except the surgery that particular surgeon said was the one that you had to have.
That's correct. The meetings we had leading up to the surgery, the surgeon only gave me an option of an operating room. There was never an office option ever listed. And also I was only ever given, and in the forms, the preoperative forms I was given, the guidelines and such, sedation was highlighted. And I was never given an option or even mentioned about a local. It was always sedation.
Okay, and this was during the COVID time, so we want to say that. So, I mean, it kind of a little bit stuff got skewed during that time, but this is a serious thing where the patient did not get information. I mean, how do you make an informed consent when you don't even have the information?
Well, and that's one of the things that's really sticking with me. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to have a day before the operation, a face-to-face meeting to go over everything. That was canceled. We have the documentation that an operator, and I apologize, I don't know if her title, if she was a nurse practitioner, mm-hmm. But she called and on her own authority elected to do the screening over the phone. But if I don't know what questions I'm supposed to ask, how can I ask these questions?
Right, and you're not asking a surgeon the question, you're asking some mediating person.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And he was later accused of declining the pre-op, which is an outright lie. The nurse took it upon herself, and it is in his records that she elected to do the pre-op over the phone.
Okay, and this happened in the state of Iowa at a pretty well-known hospital that people kind of think that they know what they're doing at that hospital, and you were just. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I mean, I would have been blindsided with things like this if my outcome was what your outcome was. Jeannie Roller, your thoughts?
Well, it sounds to me like it's pretty standard stuff. They don't tell you. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know what questions to ask. Okay.
And John and Lynn, how do you feel?
Violated, I guess, is the only proper word I can throw out there. I was blindsided on coming out of the procedure at this major hospital. Mm-hmm. I knew going in that the initial would be a very small incision, which it was.
Okay, and right just real quick, it was on the bottom of your left leg, and it was for a varicose vein, and then you had your whole groin shaved, your whole bottom abdomen. Torso shaved, all of this shaved, part of your leg shaved?
Yes, and that was done while I was in the operating room after I was knocked out, sedated. Okay. So I was completely unconscious. There were 8 or more people in the room, and I would have been completely exposed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've talked about with other people. I mean, why is this stuff happening? And have you been given, or what have you been given for an answer on why that happened? I mean, why that much shaving, why that much, involvement of your genital area when you're having the lower leg, a varicose vein operated on? It doesn't make sense.
I have 2 schools of thought, and both are kind of opposite, but they're both of the same mindset, if you'll follow with me quickly. If they told me the morning I walked in there for the procedure, we have to shave you, but we're going to do it in this reception room, where I initially went in, mm-hmm. I would not have been happy, would not have been comfortable, but a one-on-one thing I would have been more comfortable with. But then, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, but also no one told you any of this stuff. They kind of assume maybe that you knew. I'm just putting words in their mouth, but I mean...
No, they don't assume you know.
They don't assume you know.
No, they don't care.
Okay.
And the other side of the coin, giving this hospital the benefit of the doubt, maybe they said, prepare the left leg for a venous procedure. Maybe the person doing it said, okay, I'm just going to prepare all the areas. If that happened, all we're asking is that they admit we messed up, we miscommunicated, and we can begin the healing process, but they're not even taking that much responsibility.
Right. They're not even acknowledging that, this guy really, whoever did it, they said it was a male person that did it on a male patient, which is a little bit of, maybe comfort. It's really not, but it's happening too many times. And we've also brought into the discussion the pelvic exam informed consent that states are signing now, because they're finally recognizing that this stuff is going on to the patients, don't even know. And the minute they're drugged up, these are things that are happening to us.
Right.
Well, the thing is,
we can only hope at one point that this is expanded, beyond pelvic exams for women, specifically to just non-consensual genital exposure and contact across the board, because at the core, that's what these laws are supposed to protect, against unwanted genital contact and exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jeannie Roller, you were going to say something.
Well, for two points. One, they assume that males are not entitled to modesty or bodily dignity, whichever way you want to say it. And the second thing is, even though there may have been a male tech involved, the thing is the OR had 7 other people in it. Mm-hmm. So there was no privacy. Because you stay exposed for a number of minutes because the solution has to dry even after the shave. So it is not... They can do it. They should have done it in pre-op if it was going to be done, mm-hmm. and you should have been told, and then asked for permission to do it.
Right.
So, there's no going back on that. There was no mistake on their part. They did what they usually do, and they just figure the patient should suffer the consequence.
And there are other states, other doctors, including the state we live in now. I'm currently seeing a doctor, and he says they don't shave anymore for this type procedure. They said it's not necessary, in his opinion, and his hospital here does not do that.
Yeah. I know I had a surgeon on a show that said that they've proved over and over and over and over again that hair doesn't have any more germs than your skin, and they're already doing betadine and all these other washes and stuff. Again, we're not doctors, we're not lawyers, but we do know some of this stuff is common sense, and the biggest common sense thing is that you don't disregard people and their dignity. It's not even modesty, it's dignity and respect for mm-hmm. a human being is what it is. And so ongoing, we have like maybe 45 seconds left, John and Lynn. Ongoing, you've been talking with all kinds of people trying to get to the bottom of this on why it happened, but then you don't want to see it happen to someone else. I know Jeannie Roller and I don't. That's why we do these shows. So right. What do you expect, real quick, John and Lynn, to hopefully happen? Have that law changed for the pelvic consent to have it more broad?
The first thing that has to happen is admission of wrongdoing by the doctors in general, not just the doctor in my case, but all doctors. Okay. Everybody messes up. We're all human. These doctors are human as well. Mm-hmm. If they mess up, just say, hey, we messed up. Let's make it right. Then you change the law. And then our ultimate goal is, obviously nothing can be done in our case looking back, but looking forward, we don't want this to happen to somebody else. Right.
Yeah. That's how we all feel. So I'm going to say a quick thank you to both of you, John and Lynn, and also to Jeannie Roller, my co-host. And Jeannie Roller, we're going to say kudos to Misty Roberts and also John and Lynn. I know you've been in contact with her on patientmodesty.org. She's also on Medical Patient Modesty on Facebook. Jeannie Roller, you're on Rights for Patients on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you've been listening to Planet Vero Radio. Please stay tuned.